Hi everyone. So I want to make a video of me finding out my Ancestry.com DNA kit results. So I think that would be fun. Just one, I then don't have to share with everyone over and over again in words what the results are. You can just come to the video, but also just so everyone, including myself, gets to have moments of the first time that I get to see these results and find out. I have been extremely excited about these results and have been waiting for about 4 to 5 weeks now, so actually did not take as long as they initially tell you it would take, and I'm extremely excited about that. So first, before we get into that, I do want to address the big elephant in the room, and that is an Angelica, like 3-foot plush doll back there. So if you did not know, I am obsessed with Rugrats and like Toy Story and all these different things from childhood, and because of that my family finds all kinds of ridiculous things and gift them to me, and there she is in all her glory. So just so you don't think I'm a weirdo that's not aware that I'm weird, I do know I'm weird. So anyway, so with that, I just kind of want to first share like what I'm feeling now and why this is important to me. But for a long time now, I've always wanted to know just what makes up me and my family culturally. We, of course, have the ideas and generalizations of, being part Black and being Puerto Rican and being German American, but not really sure to what extent that means, really. And being a minority in America, unless you are like first generation or near that, then there is a lot of questions about that. One being that my ancestors were slaves taken from where? We don't know, and not exactly positive that these results will tell us that. There is such thing as African Ancestry.com that I would love to look into, but that goes specific to tribe and figures out exactly what tribe you're even from, and that's something we would love to do one day, but it's very expensive, so not right now. But also because of my Puerto Rican background and just Spanish background, a lot of the Caribbean countries and islands were inhabited by slaves as well from Africa and just all over the place, and there's just a weird like mixes of people and culture, and although we now call ourselves like Puerto Ricans or American or whatever, the history of how people came together and conquered those areas and then built civilization out of those areas, that history is still unknown for some of us. So my hope is to just finally get to know those types of answers, and I'm an extremely complex person, and there's a lot of cultural references in this guy, and so just to be able to have like some certainty of what that is, and then just the gift that it is to other family members, and to get to know like what our background is and where we come from. I do hope that this will lead to maybe some different answers, or it will lead to maybe even traveling to these areas or meeting people that, are connected in some kind of way. But I want to thank my wife, Megan, because she has heard me talk about this so many times, and never did I like hint at it as a gift, but for my birthday, she got me this gift of getting the Ancestry.com DNA kit, and it's pretty awesome. It's a great gift, and I'm very excited about it. As you can tell, I'm kind of like losing my, I don't know what I'm saying or doing right now. But yes, so just kind of a little bit of history. I was just at the Juvenile Detention Center with some students there, and just part of the ministry that I do. And on my way home, so like I can't have my phone with me in there, and I can't have really anything on me, but as soon as I got in the car, I checked my phone and my notifications, and I saw this awesome email that said that my results are finally in, and everything that I've been waiting for is finally here. So and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait, but I don't want to look at them like right now in the middle of this parking lot, and I need to let Megan know. And then it just dawned on me like, hey, I could make a video of it. For one, I am obsessed with vloggers. I am a millennial who watches YouTube way too much, and you know, so I love that whole industry, really. But I just thought, man, this would be a great opportunity for anyone and everyone to get to see my first reaction, but also to get to just click on the link, and especially those who are family and close to me, to get to see this with me and journey with this with me in this. So anyway, I have to log on and check, so we'll see exactly what all this means. I don't even really know much, like what kind of answers I get or anything like that. I'm really sorry if my eyes seem a little shifty, because I'm trying to figure out where the like center point is. This is all very new to me, but okay, so I open it up, and it already has just kind of like a circle diagram with a few results. And oh, I'm just so excited and nervous. All right, so let's see. Learn more. Boom. All right. Wow. This is like not at all what I expected. So at the top of the list is 28% Great Britain. What? Hello. I don't know. No, that's probably like Australian. I don't know. May and I always do British accents because we also love Harry Potter, and that comes with it. So I'm going to have to work on that now. And then right under that is 17% Nigerian. So 17% Nigerian. That is super awesome. And 12% Benin and Togo. Benin, Togo. See, I don't even know where that is or what that is. So now I get to look up that. And then 11% Ireland, Scotland, Wales. And then we have 6% Europe West, which is an interesting way to put it. And then 4% Native American. So that part is very interesting to me because, you know, just culturally and like, and joking, almost every black person says that they have some kind of Indian in them, and I forever have said that my like great grandfather or something was, because that's what I was once told, and who knows if it's true. So I was very interested to know if any of that was real. So 4% Native American is awesome. So then it says something about like migrations. So, okay. That's crazy. So Puerto Ricans, and that the more specific places within this region where your family was likely from is northwest Puerto Rico, which I don't really know like where demographically in Puerto Rico like most of our family is. I always thought it was kind of like mid to south east, but I'm not really sure. So that is awesome, of course, to know, and we kind of already knew that, of course. But let's see, what else does it say here? So North Carolina African Americans. Wow. What? So it says your connection to this region, the North Carolina African American region. I guess I'm assuming that that means that as the slaves were brought over, that this might be where they were brought to, and where my ancestry on that side is from. Anyway, so it has the 17% Nigerian, the 12% Benin Togo, and then 5% Cameroon or Congo. And then it says low confidence region, and then 3% Senegal, also low confidence region. Actually, the rest of these are that. 2% Ivory Coast and Ghana, and then Mali, 1% Mali, yeah. Anyway, so most North Carolina African Americans can trace their ancestry back to West Africa in present day, all of those I just said. So over a 200-year period, many were enslaved and brought to North Carolina to work on small farms. After the Civil War, they responded to freedom with vigor, establishing schools and churches and winning political offices. Many worked as tenant farmers or sharecroppers, hoping to buy their own land. When they were disenfranchised by new laws at the turn of the century, some left, following rail lines to cities like Philadelphia and New York. Others stayed and worked for change, whether by uniting to protest or simply by succeeding despite obstacles. So I'm kind of overwhelmed with emotions right now, and just the aftermath of slavery, and just all that it means is real. And just hearing that my ancestors are from West Africa and were brought to the North Carolinas area, and but then like that's like one thing, but then to hear just after the freedom of slaves, that these people worked with vigor, establishing schools and churches, and going into offices, politics, and just the strength that comes from my background and the people, my ancestors, and just to make it this far, and how far we have come, and that right now I am a multicultural, multi-ethnic man who's a pastor in the middle of Missouri. Like, it's just kind of overwhelming, and I don't know. I can't even really describe well what I'm feeling. I just kind of like want to cry a little, but then at the same time, like, I'm not sure why, so I'm not. But yeah, it's just ancestry in general, of knowing that slavery is involved in that. It's just hard, and brings up a lot of emotions. And anyone who tries saying that there is like no residue of that, or that that was long enough ago to not have an impact, like, it's just acting out of ignorance, because here I am not knowing really much about my culture and the ethnicities and what countries my ancestors come from. And even just another tidbit, on Ancestry.com, you're able to kind of like put in your last name and figure out what your surname's history is. And like knowing that my surname is not like actually through a real surname of my ancestors, because my father is black, and it is on his side that we have ancestry through slavery, then that means that his last name is not, that was carried on to me, is not the last name that came before him, well before. So, and then if you look it up, it says that it is an Irish surname. So, considering that, I mean, I guess Irish is definitely a part of the possibility, but the Irish part is not on that side, most likely. So, yeah, it's just interesting and kind of crazy. So anyway, then there's this Virginia and Southern states African Americans. So it says that the connection is likely through the ancestry of the same people. So that just means that that's kind of the lost history that unfortunately comes with this, is where did they specifically end up once they were brought over from Africa. And but I guess there's multiple options here. But anyway, this says that over 100 years, many were enslaved and brought to Virginia to work on tobacco farms. As new lands opened, sugar and cotton planters spread across the South, taking enslaved blacks with them. After the Civil War, many African Americans stayed in the South as farmers and sharecroppers. Later, as agriculture collapsed and segregation became legal, many were part of the Great Migration and headed to northern cities looking for jobs and a better life. So obviously a completely different like history of what happened after the so-called freedom that came after the Civil War. So but that just means that that's a possible region from slavery that they came. So yeah, and let's see what else. All right, that's all it says for that. So I guess just as we like think through just what I've always known, like I don't know if the German American's not a thing or what, but yeah, my mother's maiden name is Sly, so which is an awesome maiden name. I've always loved my name and thought, man, even if I didn't receive Jordan as my last name, then I would have had Sly, and that would have been cool as well. So anyway, so those are the results. I definitely, of course, I'm gonna have to like read in more into them and what they mean, and just what more they had found out through doing this DNA test. But just my like afterthoughts is this is still extremely exciting to just have these answers. Of course, there's like some shock in this, and like excitement and learning something new, although not all what I thought. And I think even like the Spanish aspect, like I'm not even sure like where the Puerto Rican aspect comes in. So one thing I wanted to know is if I am Afro-Latinx on that part of my family, meaning did their background as Puerto Ricans, is that from African descent as well, because there is the Spanish aspect, and there's the kind of black Latinos, and there is just kind of a movement and understanding of what being Afro-Latinx is. So I am curious as to just what that means, and it kind of looks like it's possible that that is a case. But yeah, anyway, so I'm very just overwhelmed and excited, and I definitely do want to someday get to do the African ancestry aspect, because you know, knowing that there's just so much lost in the movement and transition of slaves, and that's hard. Like, honestly, that's really difficult to not even know that to know actually that I probably could never trace specifically, you know, great whatever on my dad's side, and be able to say who they were or what they did. But to know culturally more is awesome, and Nigerian is something to be proud of, and I'm super excited to just know that like that's most likely the cases. And I don't know how this compares to any other African Americans, if this is like just a general assumption that they use or what. But then also it's possible that I can discover other family members through doing this. If there are other family members that I don't know who maybe have, who maybe have done this test as well. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for just watching and going through this with me. I'm just so happy to my wife, Megan. Thank you so much for this gift, and it just opens up so many more doors, and just so much more knowledge, and just helping discover more of just who I am, and culturally what that means. I have always identified as, you know, just being mixed, and specifically identifying as a black man in America and as a Latino in America. But to figure out what that means even more, and really even just the ancestry of, you know, from my grandfather on my mom's side, who is right there, who passed away a few years ago. Just getting to even know more about his history, and he meant a whole lot to me. So it kind of opens my eyes even to, although America immediately puts me in a box of a black man, because I don't pass, or maybe some kind of mixed or something. There is a English counterpart to it as well, and that it's not something I'm ashamed of at all, and but it is something that I've never delved into knowing more about and experiencing. And I always felt like I definitely went to Hogwarts, and I'm a true Slytherin, so I think this definitely helps confirm my place in the wizarding world, and just my magical abilities. So, it's pretty legit to know that I'm possibly like cousins or something with Harry Potter, which is awesome. So, yeah. That's it. That's everything. I probably could talk forever about this. Sorry that the video is so long. Not my intentions, but yeah, those are the results. And if you have any more questions, then feel free to comment or text me. And I am going to just take some time now to study more into this and figure out more. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.